What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video. Goldenhashira here, and today we are going to be reacting to the 7th chapter of Choujin X. Now, if you all do enjoy this video, please don't forget to hit that like button and also subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you will be notified whenever I drop a new video. So, well, technically, before I say that, apparently this chapter came out like 3 days ago. So, like, this past Wednesday, but I didn't know because I was working, and then by the time I got off of work, I was tired, and yeah, I didn't even really bother checking. And plus, I would usually get notifications on my phone since I have the Shonen Jump app, but apparently this time I didn't get one or something like that. So yeah. So without any further ado, let's begin with chapter 7. Okay, so starting off with this chapter, we basically continue where we left off last chapter, where Tokyo uses his full beastification form, and we get to see what that looks like, and it looked pretty interesting overall. So yeah, we see him just slowly transforming into his full beastification form, and then he has like a couple flashbacks of Ozma, and he talks about how can he be more like Ozma or whatever, and that he wants to become more like him. And that's when he finally transforms, right in this left bottom left corner right here. So he tries to save Ellie, and then he leaps into the air, and then we see the snake chosen right there in her full beastification form, attempting to pretty much finish Ellie off. But that's when Tokyo swoops down and kicks the snake chosen, and he lands on top of a nearby street sign. So we see Tokyo Kurahara Vulture Trojan. His full name, of course. So he says that he feels lighter and he can move faster overall. So what he does is he attempts to punch the snake chosen, but that fails miserably because he actually just pretty much breaks his hand, and yeah, this looks really painful. So the snake chosen basically just calls him a moron in layman's terms, basically. Like, did you really think that was gonna work? And she just pushes him back, and this is when Tokyo grabs Ellie and he attempts to flee away from the snake chosen. So they land like not, I'm assuming not too far from where the snake chosen originally was. And this is when, actually, no, matter of fact, he was carrying Ellie to get her away from the snake chosen by running instead. And Ellie devises a plan that he should put her down so then they can just fight the snake chosen together. And this way they might basically have a better chance of winning against the snake chosen. So what Tokyo does is basically leaps directly into the mouth of the snake chosen to hold her mouth open or whatever. And what what he wants Ellie to do is use her power so she can basically broil the snake chosen from the inside. So that's why Tokyo holds the mouth of the snake chosen open. But when Ellie tries it, it doesn't really work. And instead she actually shatters Tokyo's like chosen mask or whatever. So we actually see Tokyo's actual face for the first time in what, like a few chapters actually. So he then tries to get out of the snake chosen's mouth, but the snake chosen basically has the advantage because obviously look how big her mouth is. So that wouldn't work with just brute force. I guess depending on who it is at least. So this is when actually a mysterious Choujin appears, and he uses an attack called First Blade Lone Sword. And he says, pierced viscera, heaven set. And then a giant sword literally comes out of the sky and pierces the snake chosen in the eye. and that's when Tokyo falls out of the snake's mouth. So then Ellie is just looking shocked and surprised about what is going on. So I guess Ellie actually knew who the stranger was. And what the stranger does is constantly duplicate the sword, the lone sword attack. And we just see, I was about to say snakes. Well, there's a bunch of snakes on the snake Choujin's body, but we see a bunch of swords pierce through the snake Choujin, like pretty much from head to tail. And he says return, and that's when all the swords return to him, and then the snake Choujin goes back to her original form, and we see a bunch of loose snakes everywhere, and he just casually steps on them, which is pretty gross, but hey. So he talks about how unregistered Choujins can't use their powers or whatever, and right, I forgot the snake Choujin's name was Nari Samuji. Because it's been a while since the 6th chapter came out. So he basically says all this stuff, and then we see his full face, stuff like that. Or matter of fact, is that a female? I really don't even know, honestly. Hoping to find out soon enough. Was it Momoa and stuff like that? So we see Tokyo on the ground after he passed out, and the stranger wanted to know his name, and he says Kurahara, and he calls him Zaven Kurahara, and he just passes out on the ground. So the stranger asks for a transit helicopter to come up and pick up the the 2 injured people, stuff like that. And I'm assuming to take the snake Choujin back to the headquarters. And then we get a glimpse of the headquarters, which you can see on the left, which is, it kind of reminds me of what was it, like Xavier University or whatever, from X-Men, how you got the mutants all training or whatever, and then the teachers who help them practice their powers and everything. So that's basically the premise of it. And then we see a little bit more. We see Tokyo wake up in this little hospital bed or whatever. Like I said, his arm is broken. Then we see Sendek, I believe is his name. He works there as like a teacher or whatever, and he's just feeding him apples, talking about how apples have a good source of vitamin C. So his name is Hoshi Sandak, and like I said, he's an instructor at Yamato Mori, which is like the institute or private organization where they train good Choujins or Choujins to become good or something like that. So like I said, it's kind of like Charles Xavier from X-Men, how he tries to teach younger mutants to use their powers for good instead of evil. And then we see Tokyo, I guess, out in the little courtyard area. Then we see Ellie right there in the corner. And then we see another person, which I'm assuming could be Azuma because of the hair color. It's a possibility it could be him. So does he know Ellie? And then whoever that is, I'm assuming it's Azuma, asks, is he awake? And then Ellie says, and Tokyo says that the apple that Hoshi Sandek gave him was the sweetest apple he has ever had. And that is it for this chapter. And I believe with this chapter, because I believe besides the first chapter, this was the longest. So assuming 7 chapters are in a volume, then within, I don't know like how long it takes for a volume to release in Japan to come out, but I'm pretty sure not before too long, then the first volume of this will release. Then probably months down the line, we'll finally get an English release, which would be really good. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the same thing for the Hunter's Guild Red Hood, because the 7th chapter of that came out last week. The 8th chapter releases tomorrow, so I definitely need to cover that. That's all the time we have for this video. goldenhashira out. I hope you all have enjoyed this video, and if so, please don't forget to hit that like button and also subscribe. And don't forget to join my Discord. The link for that will be in the description below. And also, I will definitely try and record the next chapter that releases of this the same day, because like I said, I usually would get notifications whenever a new chapter releases, but for some reason this time I didn't. So I definitely had to check the website a bit more frequently as well. So yeah, see you all next time and peace out. Stay safe, everybody.